Hi class, welcome again to another session on rehabilitation engineering. So we have been discussing gait analysis and today we shall discuss the determinants of gait. Now, the factors that modify the path of gait to smoothen out its extreme movements and reduce its amplitude of displacement sideways or vertically is called the determinant of gait. In simpler terms, the factors or the parameters that ensure that we have a measured, uh, you know, walking style is called as the determinant of gaits. Now, these factors can be pelvic rotation. No matter how robotic you try your gait to be, there's still a certain amount of swaying of the pelvis that is required for you to propel your body forwards. So when your legs are, alternatingly scissoring while you're walking, there has to be a slight sway in the pelvis or slight rotation in the pelvis in order to facilitate forward movement. The second one is pelvic tilt. So while you're planted your foot firmly on the ground in order to balance, the leg which is firmly planted in the foot, that side of the pelvis slightly tilts down to support the foot that is planted firmly, while the other leg would be lifted up in the swing phase. So that side of the pelvis or the side that is in the swing would be slightly tilted up. And then this tilting also occurs alternatingly. The leg that is planted, that side of the pelvis is slightly tilted low and the other side is lifted up. So this seesawing of the pelvis is also necessary for you to, balance and walk properly. Of course, the knee flexion is very, very important because that determines your lift of the leg. Now, there has to be a good lift in the leg. I'm not saying that the knee has to be 180-degree flexed, but the knee has to be flexed to a good angle so that while swinging, your ankle and your toes are not brushing the ground. There has to be a good clearance, and then you should be able to plant your leg, because if the toes they brush the ground, then there are chances that might facilitate tripping. So the knee has to flex to a good angle in order to facilitate that, in order to make sure that the clearance during the swing is very, very crisp. Now, knee and ankle movement is also important, because if your ankle is not dorsiflexing or plantar flexing, then it is very, very difficult for you to plant your foot firmly on the ground and balance. Then again, the pelvis sway, like I said, like pelvic rotation and pelvic tilt is important, and similarly the swaying of the pelvis is also necessary to make sure that the position is well maintained. And lastly, the limb rotation. So all these, they make sure that while we are walking we are balanced and we do not trip over. At the same time, none of our joints are actually experiencing more force than they're supposed to, and this ensures a pain-free and clear walking sequence. So these are the determinants of the gait. Now, there are certain definitions that are associated with gait analysis. The first is stride length. This is the difference between the heel strike of one leg and the next heel strike of the same leg. For example, your right foot has struck, the heel of the right foot has struck at t seconds, then the time that takes for the right leg to again have a heel strike is your stride length. Now, step length is the time difference between the heel strike of one foot and the heel strike of the next foot. So right foot heel strikes, and after heel strike, the amount of time that takes the left foot to strike its heel is called the step length. So stride length is the same heel, the time difference between the same heel striking again, and step length is this time difference between heel strike of the first foot and the heel strike of the next foot. Now, stride length is the difference between the midline of one foot and the midline of the other foot. Stride width. So basically the distance between the two legs while you're walking. Toe out angle is the angle made by the midline of the foot to the direction of the propulsion. It's just usually the forward direction, but some people run backwards as well. Cadence is the number of steps per minute, and the mean duration of a gait cycle varies between 1 and 2 seconds. So the whole, the swing and the stance phase varies between 1 and 2 seconds. That is a normal gait. I hope you had a fruitful session learning about gait analysis with me. In the next session, we shall discuss pathological gait. Till then, I hope you take care.